done.
I wish you luck, hero.
What is up, everyone? This is Kaz. So I'm back. It's been about a month since my last video, and there's some really good reasons as to why I decided it was time for a short break. There was a lot of talk about YouTube demonetization going around. One of the big topics that kind of focused around it was the fact that Destiny 2 was being auto-flagged for demonetization. Well, we had already pre-ordered the game and we wanted to play it, so we decided to not really worry about streaming the game. We didn't focus on the game as if it was one that we would stream, and we kind of just play the game and have fun with it. Also, taking a step back allowed us to watch other gaming sites and see how the new Demonetization Engine was working for them, and to see if any of the improvements that YouTube has made kind of helped out or affected their channels. From our side, I don't think that any of the IYP gaming channels were affected too much. I kind of hope it does stay that way. We didn't see any videos get demonetized, but we did see an expected decrease in the number of views and an expected drop in subscribers. I'm hoping that we are able to come back and continue to grow this channel with that knowledge that we have gained. In doing some of the research around the YouTube demonetization and taking a look at whether or not channels are able to stay alive or move to other platforms, I noticed that there was a huge influx of videos titled "The Real Reason Behind YouTube Demonetization," or something similar. Funny thing is, few, if any, of these videos really talked about how that algorithm may be functioning, and giving people an understanding of the science behind machine learning or artificial intelligence. Well, I am a computer science major, and I have been working with computers for some time now, but I'm not an expert in this field. Most of the information that I'm about to give you is what I understand about machine learning and artificial intelligence, but I'm not certain that this is going to be 100% correct, or even if this is what's going on behind the scenes. I will say that this is probably more accurate than saying, oh, well, YouTube's just doing this because they're being a dick, or YouTube's doing this because they hate you, or whatnot. Currently, YouTube has about 1.3 billion users, 300 hours of video are uploaded to YouTube every minute, and there are almost 5 billion videos watched on YouTube every day. These are some very big numbers, and that's kind of the first clue in the algorithm. Large numbers usually mean some kind of big data processing or big data algorithm that's being used somewhere. Now, according to an article posted by Marissa, a community manager for YouTube, which I'll link in the description below, she claims that in the first few hours of a video upload, we use machine learning to determine if a video meets our advertiser-friendly guidelines. So now we know that we're also using machine learning, a machine learning algorithm of some sort. So now we start getting into some of the math. Machine learning uses hypothesis testing to determine or make a decision on a set of data. From my research, the student's t-test is one of the most popular hypothesis tests used in machine learning, and it also has its foundations in statistics. Now, without getting into the details of how the test is run and the nitty-gritty math of it, we basically take the data that we have, whether that be meta tags, video titles, descriptions, and the demonetized flag, and we find the mean or average and the standard deviation. We run that through an equation, we compare that equation to a normal distribution or bell curve, and that gives us what's called a 95% confidence level. We use that confidence level, or we use that result, to determine whether or not that video should be monetized or demonetized. So you can see that this is kind of prone to error, because it assumes that the demonetization or monetization status is based off of a normal distribution, and that it's not skewed left, it's not skewed right, it's not kind of all over the place. This is, I believe it's due to the fact that we don't have enough data yet to make that kind of a determination. We're also making a lot of assumptions in this hypothesis so that we can make an illustration based off of a smaller set of data. So remember, if you flip a coin 4 times and you got 3 heads and 1 tails, then your percent chance of getting heads is 75% based on the data that you have. But we all know that if you increase your sample size from 4 tries to 100 tries, you'll see your percent chance of getting either heads or tails approach 50%. Now, I believe this is the same thing that's happening with YouTube, because there's so many different options and keywords that we are now looking at. I think I've read somewhere that YouTube is using almost 80,000 different data points per video to determine whether or not that video needs to be monetized or demonetized. The algorithm needs to take all of this data and learn how to tie each of these into the hypothesis testing to be able to make that right references and comparisons. So how do we do that? Do we only look at keywords? What if the video is talking about raising a family as a lesbian couple? Sure, we can compare that video to other videos having the keyword lesbian in it, but is that going to give us an accurate view of whether or not that video contains, family practices, tips, or if it's porn, right? Not surprisingly enough, when we kind of expand this out and start taking a look at big data algorithms, my research also shows that even big data algorithms suggest using a 2-sample t-test, a hypothesis test, to be able to make these kind of decisions. So now the question that remains is, what kind of data points is YouTube using, and how big is their sample size, and how do they determine which sample size is relevant for determining whether or not a video is monetized or demonetized? Now, with the information that we have covered so far, how does this help us? What do we do with this information? So, with this information, I'd like to make 3 points. The first point is we should stop blaming YouTube, right? I don't think that YouTube is out there to demonetize your video because they're being dicks. Maybe they are. Again, I can't say that I'm 100% on anything in this video. Maybe they are just being giant dicks and trying to demonetize you because they hate you. Or maybe they're trying to perfect this algorithm and get the right data to the algorithm so that the algorithm can be more accurate. Second, realize that statistics is what matters. If there are a lot of videos that have the tag Destiny 2 and you find that they're all being demonetized, then it might be a good idea to stay away from making a video about Destiny 2. Or, at least don't tag the video with Destiny 2 or with a tag that you think might be controversial and might lead to your video getting demonetized. And noted in the article that I referenced above, blank videos or videos without a title or metadata likely don't provide enough context to help our systems understand if the content is suitable for all advertisers. So it may lead to a yellow icon status for the video. Now, in layman's terms, what this kind of means is, if we go back to the coin flipping example, well, what happens if you flip the coin so hard that it never lands? How are you to determine whether or not it landed heads or tails? Well, obviously you can't. So what the system does is it says, okay, I can't make a determination. I'm going to flag it as a maybe, and it gives you the yellow status icon. Finally, if you do have to make a decision to appeal a video, then do your research. Find examples of other videos with similar content that aren't demonetized. Now, you can do this by watching their videos and seeing if they're ads, or if there are ads that appear during, before, after the video, if they have a banner at the bottom of the video, or if there's ads on the right side where the video recommendations are. If none of those ad locations are being used by an ad, then that video is more than likely demonetized. So having this kind of information should help you make an educated decision as to whether or not to appeal your video for the monetization, and should give you a good idea as to whether or not that decision will be reversed or not. You could potentially contact someone from YouTube or post on their forums if you don't get the turnaround or whatnot, but I'm still not sure how they would respond to that at this point. So that's about all I have on the demonetization at this moment. I know there's a lot of research that we did over the past month that I'm not really going to talk too much about, partially because I don't know if I completely understand it, and partially because I know a lot of the talk out there has been opinionated and kind of more focused towards, well, it's not fair that this is happening, blah, 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 with no real evidence to either have an intelligent discussion around it or whatnot. It's just complaining videos that I've seen for the most part. If you've been paying attention to what's been happening in the background, you will notice that yes, this is my Uliana's Monk. I'm running a GR45. Does this mean I'm bringing back the road to GR70? I'm not sure yet. I know Diablo 3 Season 12 starts on like 2 or 3 days, something like that. Today's Monday. It starts Thursday, I believe. And the Hadrix gift for the monk this season is actually the Uliana set. So I may be trying to push for a higher GR during the season. I might just play the non-season Uliana's monk that I have right here and just see how that goes. I've kind of altered my build a little bit. I've kind of farmed for some more legendaries and altered a few things here and there. 45 feels okay for me right now. I think I could potentially push to 50 if I really wanted to try it. I might try that later on this afternoon, but I don't know, we'll see. And speaking of like streaming schedules and whatnot, all that is still up in the air. We're still trying to determine, you know, since we took this break, we're going to try and restructure our organization a little bit and streaming schedules and come back and take a look and see what went well, what didn't go well, and make some changes around that while we have that chance. We will probably be looking at doing a relaunch sometime soon, and then going back to a streaming schedule probably within a few weeks or so. Outside of that, I think that's all I've got for this video. I'm going to be doing some more vlogging type videos to kind of keep everyone updated in terms of what's going on with IYP and what's going on with our streaming schedule and whatnot. We'll probably be focusing less in detail with particular games, but trying to cover more games overall. Well, with that said, I'm coming to the realization that we're about to hit 12 minutes, and I really wasn't planning on making this a long video. I'm going to leave it as it is, and remember, if you're not liking what you're doing, go do something else. See y'all next time.